Hi everyone, and welcome back to the 2014 C77 Design Awards. I'm Sarah Spear, and I'm the program manager here in New York City, and we are here to announce the DIY honorees for this year. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our jury, who is also live in New York City.
Hi, my name is Ayah Bdeir. I'm the founder and CEO of Little Bits. We make a modular library of electronics that snap together with magnets for learning and for prototyping. So we love the DIY category. It's our favorite, in fact. I'm here live in New York with my fellow jury members that I'm going to introduce, and also very prominent DIYers in the country. So first up, I have Limor, the founder and CEO of Adafruit. Hi, Limor.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm the local engineer. We also do a lot of DIY stuff at Adafruit. I love maker culture, and I love building stuff, and I've been doing so for at least a decade. So this is a really wonderful honor to get to see and be inspired by such lovely entries in this contest.
Nice to have you, Limor. So next up, we have Marco Perry. Hi, Marco.
Hi, everybody. Very proud to be here. I'm Marco Perry. I'm a founder of Pensa. It was a design consultancy and also Pensa Labs, which makes the DIYer. So we're very much about all the DIY community, and we're really excited to be here.
And third up, we have Duann Scott from Shapeways. Hi, Duann.
Hi there. Thank you. Hey, I'm Duann Scott. I'm the designer evangelist at Shapeways. Shapeways is an online 3D printing service and marketplace. And what we do is we give you access to the best 3D printers in the world. So you can make anything you want, any object you want. And we see amazing things come through the factory every day from people all around the world. And so we just love to see people making what they want.
The exciting part about this category is actually we've seen people use some of the tools that our jury members have helped create. So it's kind of a very nice, the maker becomes the makee kind of situation. So that's always fun to see. So to tell you a bit about the jury process, what we did is we went through all the different submissions and discussed them. We ended up having a very interactive session where we basically laid out these hand-cut submissions and went through discussing each of them and what we liked and didn't like. The submissions, I must say, were really wonderful, ranging from the technically very complex to the very simple but magical. And we feel like we have a very good selection of submissions that won. So I will get started. So we have a few notables to start with, and just as a reference, notables means submissions that we that were worth an honorary mention, that we found that were either special or needed to be mentioned for some specific aspect. So we'll discuss a few of the aspects for each of them. All right. So drum roll, please. All right, first notable mention, we have submission 17379, the Caf Latte Stamp designed by Lutz Hornischer. And here to talk about it is going to be Limor. Limor, tell us about the submission.
The first thing I loved about it is the number 17379. I mean, like, it's all odd numbers. It's just like a wonderful, magical number. But I also really like the project, and I think that when we were meeting about all these entries for the DIY category, one thing that we really focused on was DIY. Is it something you can make yourself? And what we really liked about the Caf Latte Stamp was how it's self-documented. You look at this project and you immediately know how to build it. You immediately know what it does. It's kind of like you have this little bit of wonder, a little bit of magic. And it's something that you could probably make with stuff hanging out on your office desk. Just get like a rubber stamp and some wire from like a large paper clip. And like you are your own barista, so I think this one is definitely a notable, and it again made us all smile. We all really loved it.
That's exactly why I loved it. I thought it was one of those inventions that really makes you smile, and there's always an excuse to have one of those.
I can imagine you making one with a DIY.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, I told you there's all this like this intertwined relationship happening, so it's exciting.
We could do it with little bits.
I don't know if you want little bits with your coffee, but maybe, no judgment. All right, so next up we have another notable mention. Drum roll, please. 16909, Food Maps, designed by Henry Hargreaves and Caitlin Levin. So this submission was one of my favorites. It's basically a map of the world, of different countries in the world, that is created in 3 dimensions with some of the iconic foods of that country. And the really fun thing about the submission, I thought, was the way they explained the process of coming up with these maps, including projecting them, including creating them in 3 dimensions, in many instances treating the food so that it had texture, it had character, but at the same time felt very DIY and achievable. So you had something that was very sort of like anybody could do at home, but still looked very, very beautiful and like a design object that you would purchase. So that one was one of my favorites as well. Any other comments about food maps, anyone?
Delicious.
That's always good. That's always scores points for the jury.
The video was fun. They had a lot of fun in the video.
Yeah. Many of these projects that we picked actually looked like they were having a lot of fun. I think in general, in DIY category, that's something that's important, where people just start doing it because they get excited about maker and DIY culture. So that's kind of inherent.
Yeah, something of learning through play.
Right, the theme.
Yeah.
All right, so next up we have 15472, Share a Seed, designed by Sukanya Pasi. Marco, I know this one was one of your favorites. Tell us about why you like it.
I really liked it because if the whole idea was if you really enjoyed planting and you would go by somebody's house and you saw that they had a plant that was rare or unusual and you really liked it, it was a way to go up to the plant and not only see the name of the plant but grab the seeds so that you can you know, plant your own. And to me, I thought that was pretty neat. It was a pretty it was a great sharing story, and it encourages other people to be DIY. So I thought it fit the category very well, and I thought overall it was a great idea that it was not just enjoying somebody's plants, but being able to take them home for yourself.
So next up, we have 2 more notable mentions, and then we'll go up. We'll go to the runner-up and the winner. So one more notable mention is number 15360, the Sherpa Lift, designed by Don Arp Jr. So the Sherpa Lift was one of those highly debated submissions because it's one of those really simple inventions that basically you can make from household materials or materials that you can buy, but also illustrates a very, very clever use of design that is not elitist, that is not only about aesthetics, that is purely about functionality and solving a problem. And in this case, the problem is how to carry material across tough terrain or in areas that are not necessarily developed, but still being able to make an aid to this carrying mechanism that you can buy for yourself. So we thought that was an exciting project, so that also gets notable mention.
Super DIY. I mean, you could go to Home Depot and build this today, which was a plus.
Exactly. Sure. And the instructions were also very elaborate, which was also always good to have. All right, so last notable
Yeah, and funnily enough, on the way out of the judging session, we saw it in Chinatown.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, on the way through Chinatown, leaving the exhibition, we saw a woman with 2 huge bags carrying cans, like exact the same design. Not as quite as refined, but the same concept being proven as being useful.
You should have run after her and asked for a case study.
I don't think she spoke English.
Well, congratulations to her. She did really well.
Well, so Mr. Don Arp, you have a market. We know for a fact we saw it, Duann saw it on the street right when he left, so it's good. All right, last notable mention we have is entry 14291, Stampomatica by Marcelo Pirovano and Patricia Bolzan. Limor, this was one of your favorites. Tell us more about it.
Well, as you can tell, anything with the word stamp in it just gets my vote of approval. No, it's just it is funny that both the Cafe Latte Stamp and this one are both stamp-based. What I liked about this was that this was a laser cut project, and it was making something that was very professional looking, using tools that most makers or hobbyists have at their maker space or their high school or college, laser cutters. And it took something that's kind of common. A lot of kids make like potato stamps, but it kind of took it to the next level with, you can have like a really nice like levered system, and it was designed from flat pack. and they have 2 versions, and you know, the video and the presentation were really good, and I just thought it was really, it was kind of showing the more pro maker side of what happens when you have done enough DIY that you're getting good at it, and good enough that you can actually make something that looks like a finished, ready to purchase product. And I really like that, and you know, it's art that makes art. You know, who doesn't love art that makes art?
That's actually definitely a theme between some of the submissions that we had that will reoccur. The art that makes art, tools that make art, really sort of this enablement and empowerment that I think all of us really believe in. So I actually lied. There is one more notable mention before I move to runner-up, but that should be exciting. So that's entry 14085, The Open Mirror by Innocenzo Rufino and Diego Rossi from Digital Habits. Duann, I know that you like the submission a lot. Tell us more what you liked.
Yeah, I like that they really resolved the design. They worked on a lot of features, had mechanisms, they had electronics. They worked really hard to have something that looked like a finished product. But what I found most exciting possibly is the future uses. So the original concept was to be able to control your music with gesture. But the same could be used for other things. We joked about you could do a selfie with it, or you could have some other app running on your phone which could be utilizing the interaction without it being necessarily about music. So, and it was so well done. It was really well documented and looked very refined. I think it could be in a hip bathroom here in New York City easily.
So you also have a market, hip New York bathrooms in New York City. Diego and Innocenzo, we already have your market. Cool. All right. So moving on to runner-up, we have one runner-up, and then obviously the one winner. And I should mention that this was a very heated debate. Lots of the submissions had different proponents, and but we really feel good about them. So it's exciting to share it. So now a serious drum roll, please, guys. Our runner-up is submission 15653, The Trihorse by Brian Campbell of Basswood Artisan Carpentry. Just a little description, the Trihorse is a 3-legged sawhorse that solves the wobbling problem of typical quad horses or on uneven surfaces. Duann, Marco, I know you guys loved this submission very much, so tell us more about what you liked about it.
I really like the fact that they thought through a lot of the little features about the Trihorse. So they were able to not just be a 3-legged sawhorse, but also the fact that they built in little areas you can clip in other beams to hold up table saws and things like that. So, you know, it kind of fell into a lot of the theme that we were talking about, where it's another tool that allows you that you can DIY, make yourself, and then allows you to make even more stuff. So stuff that makes stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
And I like that it's just like it starts off with a guy solving his need. So we see this with a lot of DIY projects is you have a problem, you try and solve it yourself, you refine it, and then it's like other people have that same problem, so why not share that idea so others can solve that problem as well? I think it's one of the really powerful things about the DIY community is we can help each other learn and improve each other's products. And this, I think, is a perfect example of that.
The interesting thing about the Trihorse is that it's one of those design products that if you were designing sort of more traditional modern design, you wouldn't look at necessarily as a design product. You would look at it more as a functional product. But that's also what we love, and particularly what works in this category, is that it's highly functional and clever and innovative for that reason. So that's why it's our runner-up. All right, the winner. Is everybody ready? That's hands. Okay. The winner is submission 16250, the Neolucida, designed by Pablo Garcia and Golan Levin. A little description about the Neolucida. It's a drawing aid that allows you to trace what you see using a prism on a flexible stand to superimpose an image of your subject onto your paper. It's a modern version or a modern reinterpretation of the camera Lucida. Limor, you loved this submission. What did you like about it?
One of the things that I really liked about this is, you know, I'm really into open source hardware. That's kind of what I do all day and all night. And so this is one of the few that was true open source hardware where every element and part of the design was available open source and on GitHub. You could download it and like machine out or cut out your own pieces and remake it by hand. And what I liked is that the design of this project was recreating something that had fallen into disuse, that nobody had really built on a larger scale in a very long time, going through the process of redesigning it, making it for the current manufacturing capabilities that we have now, not a couple hundred years ago, and then saying, hey, instead of a couple hundred years from now somebody doing the same thing over again, let's put everything out there so this is like a finished design that we will always be able to make in the future. That's all the documentation's available, and that really speaks to like my heart and to the DIY heart. It's protecting against future obsolescence, right? Which is so common. Everything we have around us, all the electronics, all the designs. Once it's over, it's over. You can never recreate it. There's no documentation. This one was so well documented that it will always survive, and that really spoke dearly to me.
I thought this submission was really beautiful because it's sort of the same theme of a tool that allows you to make something, or art that allows other people to make art. But even more, I think I kind of echo Limor's idea of taking an old technology or an old idea, an old technique, and really revitalizing it and bringing it to the 21st century, but making it accessible. I mean, that's something that for me is extremely important. Technology doesn't matter if it's not made to be accessible to people. If it's not, it's not empowering you, if it's frustrating you or scaring you, then there's no point. And so in this case, as the tool, the camera Lucida has been extinct, and so they're bringing it back, and they're really allowing a next generation of inventors and makers and artists, but also doing it in a very, very elegant and minimalist way, which is always a challenge, but really well done. Marco, Duann, any last comments on that?
Well, I echo that. Sorry, you go.
Go ahead.
Marco, go.
Okay. Like you said, it really does fall into that theme of not only a pro result that is really easy to make, but I really like it that it's a product that you can actually go ahead and make yourself and improve upon, but also it allows you then to make even more stuff, which I think really did fall in very easily into the theme of all the winners today.
Duann, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I like that it was a beautiful, elegant, refined design. Like there was nothing there that didn't need to be there. Everything was just perfectly. The proportions were perfect. So as an object itself, I think it's a thing of beauty, which is important.
The video was really effective too.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to have something that both has the DIY spirit and yet at the same time is an elegant and refined design. That's the challenge. I think that's what makes us the winners. It has the sour, sweet, bitter, umami flavor all together. It's just delicious all together, not just heavy on the fat or heavy on the sugar or heavy on the design or heavy on the DIY.
They really did a good job kind of balancing. The documentation was really clean, also makes you want to make one for yourself. And if you notice, kind of mentioned this across all the different submissions that we discussed, and in general what we as a jury believe to be very important in the DIY category is this idea of sort of empowerment, getting people excited to make their own things. Everybody, as far as I know, that works in the field of DIY or maker culture is a form of an activist who believes that it is up to us to reinvent our tools and reinvent our products and to really participate in culture. And this was a kind of a selection of those, but we would encourage people all over to really participate in that, because it's at the intersection that you find some of these most magical products. One comment I would make for future applicants, don't forget that because of the category and the category name, documentation is important. We did disqualify a few products that we otherwise would have liked because they basically didn't share any of the content of how other people could make them or any documentation. So that was important. So keep that in mind for your submissions for next time. And other than that, keep making.
All right.
I think that's all for today. If nobody on the jury has anything else, I think we're going to sign off from New York.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much to the DIY team. You guys look like you had so much fun, and I'm a big fan of all the work that you picked. So thank you so much for just getting together and kind of hashing this out to pick your favorites. And again, a huge thanks to everyone that entered. It looks like we had a lot of great work this year. And finally, one more thank you. I want to send that out to our presenting sponsor, Intuit, for helping to make these live announcements possible. So that's it for the DIY category, and that's it for today, actually. We'll have some more announcements starting tomorrow, so be sure to tune in. And thanks. We're signing off from New York.